Sheogorath is undeniably the maddest person in the Elder Scrolls, but Sheogorath's madness in many ways is an asset. Part of being mad is being able to view things in an unorthodox way. Sheogorath often offers surprisingly pithy aphorisms that make you think twice. It's not just that he subverts expectations, rather his whole philosophy in a way is genius. Part of being a genius involves challenging people's preconceptions. In his realm of oblivion, the Shivering Isles, Sheogorath does just that. For instance, he challenges what preconceptions we may have about madness itself. Sheogorath comments that for some, madness is the greatest blessing. This might seem stupid to begin with, because we often associate madness with the deprivation of sanity and an inability to think properly. However, in a way, Sheogorath is right. When he breaks the minds of those who enter his province and turns them mad, he's inviting them to a simpler, more fulfilling existence. Those who are mad don't have to worry about normal things or stress. Those such as Big Head are content and happy with the mad little realities they believe themselves to be living. Sheogorath raises the question of whether madness is actually objectively bad, when in fact for some it offers an all-encompassing existence that keeps them more content than a normal life otherwise would. But that being said, of course, madness is awful for some people. You simply have to look at Hirus Clotumnus, the madly depressed suicidal maniac, for evidence of that. But for most NPCs in Sheogorath's realm, life seems oddly content. Sheogorath's realm is the literal embodiment of the unorthodox, from having a matriarchal society to having his realm represent the two polarized extremes of the human consciousness, euphoria and depression. Every inch walked in his province makes the mind question itself. The polarized nature of the realm, for instance, points out the need for moderation between sadness and happiness. If you are too euphoric, this will result in a happy, nonsensical mania. If you're too depressed, you'll be left a mere husk of your former self due to self-doubt and pity. Essentially, there's a method in Sheogorath's madness. His aim is to make you mad by challenging your assumptions. But there are some seemingly sane moments of Sheogorath's when he makes enlightening comments. For instance, he questions the typical understanding of time. He says that linear time is an artificial construct, and he alludes to the fact that for many people time is cyclical. This is probably supposed to refer to the Grey March, which is the cycle Jiglag is stuck in due to being cursed by the other Daedric princes, but it could be a reference to the nature of the Elder Scrolls universe. Kalpas are extremely long cycles of time. This concept was borrowed by the Elder Scrolls creators from Hinduism, and the significance of a Kalpa is that it renders the Elder Scrolls universe cyclical. Each Kalpa, Alduin destroys the universe so it can be born anew, slightly different from the last Kalpa. So Sheogorath, in making that comment about time, is perhaps showing self-awareness with regard to the very fabric of the universe he inhabits. It's true that time cannot be linear if it is simply linear within an overarching, never-ending Kalpic cycle. Another way in which Sheogorath is genius is to do with the main quest of the Shivering Isles DLC itself. Sheogorath can be considered a genius by coming up with the idea of having a mortal champion mantle the role of Sheogorath during the Grey March to break his curse. Mantling is an incredibly complex thing to do. It's where you convince yourself you are someone to the extent you become them. It only works if the person you're convincing yourself to be is dead or half dead, so Sheogorath timed his plan perfectly. The player becomes Sheogorath just at the moment Jiglag vacated that role to become himself. In a way, Sheogorath shows through his planning that there's still a bit of the calculating Jiglag left within him. He was able to perceive that he wasn't in his true form, and he planned, despite the madness that infected his brain, to get out of it. You might think that I'm mad to suggest that Sheogorath, the Prince of Madness, is a genius, but I think he's proof that madness and genius are two things that can coalesce. Much of what Sheogorath says is stupid and nonsensical, but part of being mad is being unorthodox, and Sheogorath's unorthodoxy, in my opinion, is chiefly what makes him seem a genius. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more Elder Scrolls lore and speculation videos, then feel free to subscribe to my channel. Anyway, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.